September 15th at 4:25 Eastern is circled on my calendar. Patriots Giants at the Meadowlands. We know the G-Men had the Pats number back in 2007. In 2011, of course, winning the Super Bowl. But this time around, New England is favored by 7 to stay perfect. Skip, what chances do you give the G-Men to win this one?
I must admit to you, when I first saw this betting line this morning, only 7?
Oh, God.
It sort of gave me pause. I thought, well, somebody in Las Vegas, people who are very smart at what they do, they're giving the Giants a little bit of respect here. Just a little bit. It's only 7. I thought it might be 10. And I will be the first to admit to you, Eli Manning against the Patriots scares me to death. I'm not kidding. I'm not faking. I'm telling you from my heart, he scares me to death. Eli Manning versus New England has nuclear capability. You want to know why? He is descended from, as you always say, NFL royalty. Son of Archie, little brother of Peyton. And Eli Manning grew up around pro football thinking he was really great at what he was about to do because his father was really good and his big brother is really good, and he should be really good. He's 6'5", he's got all the talent in the world, and he is the weirdest quarterback in the history of this league. I never know what to make of him. You say Jay Cutler is emotionless and hard to read, and what's your other word, apathetic or whatever. Half the time I think Eli's Jay Cutler. Except Eli he's Jay Cutler with 2 of the most unlikely and lucky playoff runs in the history of this league. Both of them resulting in Super Bowl wins, lucky Super Bowl wins over my New England Patriots, my Tom Brady Patriots. And I never know if Eli cares or doesn't care because he will try anything at any moment, and if it blows up in his face, he just shrugs and goes on because he's Eli Manning. His father's Archie. His big brother's Peyton. He's made all the money he'll ever need in the world, and he just goes on to the next play, which is why Eli Manning has led this league in turnovers, in interceptions 3 times. And my favorite stat, would you believe that since the start of 2007, listen to this, Jay Cutler is 2nd in the NFL in turnovers since the start of 2007. Guess who leads in turnovers since 07, the start of 07? Eli, by far. He has 181 turnovers to Jay Cutler's 2nd place, 161. That's Eli Manning. When you least expect it, he will just blow up, and then he'll blow up on you. And listen, those 2 plays in the Super Bowl, the first one to Tyree, it's the biggest pass in a prayer I have ever seen. It's 3rd and 5 at the 44, their own 44. I don't know how he got away because he's not that athletic. And then he just flings it to nowhere. I don't know what Rodney Harrison was doing. He wasn't doing anything. We'll talk about him later in the show. But all of a sudden, Tyree goes up, and it sticks in his face mask.
I wouldn't say he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, well,
I saw him jump up and
you got to get your hand on the ball. It hangs up there for 14 seconds. You got to get your hand on the ball, and it sticks in Tyree's face mask. He'd caught 4 balls all season. This is impossible. And Tom Brady had done what he always does. He had clutched up and thrown the touchdown pass to Randy Moss with a couple of minutes left, and all of a sudden it's 14-10, and all of a sudden it's 17-14 Eli. How did he do that? And then in the next Super Bowl, Eli, they're backed up, they're in jail, they're stuck at their 12-yard line, and he throws one down the chimney to Manningham. It was a great throw.
That was a great throw.
I got to tell you. But it followed on the heels of the unluckiest throw in Tom Brady's career, because I'm getting ahead of our video here, but just before that, Brady had Wes Welker right down the seam, just wide open. Just lead him a little bit. Just lead him just a little bit, Tom. Hit him in stride. It's going to be a touchdown, and the game's going to be out of reach. But no, he threw it a little behind him. Tom Brady made a bad throw. I said this. I said it at the time. I thought it was a bad throw.
I don't recall.
That's
so
just me.
I'm touched.
Okay.
That was a moment for me.
I said it the next day. A lot of people said Welker dropped the ball. I thought it was a very difficult, because you're going to make Wes Welker, who's not your typical deep threat wide receiver, flip in the air and try to catch the ball over the wrong shoulder. He just made a bad throw. But if he makes a good throw, we're having a different conversation right now. Eli Manning, turnover machine. But Eli Manning made 2 Super Bowl runs that put him on the national map. So will he be afraid of this moment? No. He'll go out there and do what he does.
I think that you're a bit too hard on Eli Manning. I can understand the bitterness. It makes total sense because it robbed your boy Tom Brady of not one, but two Super Bowls. And so you haven't gotten over that. You're still lamenting those experiences, the emotions that come with it. You're a bit depressed. You haven't recovered, typically so.
I haven't.
It's about 8 years ago, one of them, and 4 the other one.
But I would say
I think it was yesterday. It feels like.
I'm looking at Eli's numbers right now. He did lead the league in interception 3 times. Skip. In 2007, it was 20. In 2010, it was 25. In 2013, it was 27.
27.
27.
So that year he had 18 touchdowns to 27 interceptions.
Is it? No. It says here. I'm just.
Okay.
I'm just looking at.
No, I was just wondering because that was the year they won the Super Bowl.
That's right. It was the year they won the Super Bowl, but he had 20 interceptions.
Wow.
He had 20 interceptions. What I'm saying to you, Skip, is this. When you look at these numbers, what you're missing is in between. After the 20 interceptions, 10 and 14 over the next 2 years. After the 25 interceptions, just 16 and 15 the next 2 years. After the 27 interceptions, 14 last year, and thus far he only has 6. All I'm trying to say to you is that Eli Manning is a 2-time Super Bowl champion for a reason, and you need to respect that. Then you look at a Reuben Randall. You look at an Odell Beckham Jr. I don't recall Eli Manning having those requisite weapons. Manningham was good, and you had some other weapons, but you didn't have an Odell Beckham Jr. on your squad. You look at some of the guys, some of the responsibility, rather, that Tom Coughlin and the Giants organization has placed on Eli Manning's shoulders. You know, it's similar to what is asked of Tom Brady in order to do what he did, except for some reason, whether it's schematically or otherwise, okay, you have continuity with the coordinators. You have continuity with Bill Belichick. Even though you've got the continuity with Tom Coughlin, there's always been some upheaval as to what the offense should be doing because of the offensive line, the lack of protection to Eli, the absence of a running game. There's been a whole bunch of stuff that comes with it. So I don't look at Eli as some marginal quarterback, and I don't talk about him that way. There at no time has Eli Manning reminded me of Jay Cutler. At no time has that happened. Well, it's more, you know, I don't know if it's Gomer Pyle or what was the character's name for the 50s? The aw shucks kind of guy from the Andy Griffith days. I keep trying to remember. I think that's who Eli Manning reminds me of to some degree.
Okay, I'll buy that.
The aw shucks kind of guy or whatever. But he didn't seem indifferent. He didn't seem apathetic. He's just always somebody that, you know, his actions weigh heavily on him. He actually cares a lot about what he's doing. And as a result, when he messes up, you can see it in him. It's not like I don't see a guy. I've never looked at Eli and felt like he didn't care.
No.
I don't think it bothers him a bit to throw an interception. I just don't.
That's
because he's Eli Manning.
Well, listen, he'll
be just fine. He's not going to lose his job.
That's not the Eli I see, and I don't think it's the Eli Molly see.
No.
I think it's the Eli you see because you're trying to knock him because he beat your boy
2-on-1 again. I knew it. I knew it. It's okay. It's 2-on-1.
I appreciate the help, but I don't need it. Let me be very, very clear. You haven't gotten over the fact that your boy lost 2 Super Bowls to Eli Manning.
Okay, so I'm looking at the QBRs for Eli Manning every full season since 07.
Okay.
I don't even see one over 66. It's on scale of 0 to 100. That's how wildly inconsistent he can be.
You in the 50s, you told me that was average. Okay. So what's the 60s?
Okay, 60. It's just
It's
okay.
rated right now. Is that
but here's the point. On 2 Super Bowl runs to 2 Super Bowl championships, he had a QBR for those games in that postseason of 73 and 73. Well, that's extraordinary, man. I mean, that's just, and remember, the first one was all on the road. He goes on the road, and then he beat Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau. How could you do that?
So you know how you can do that when you have talent and you care. Jay Cutler has talent, but he doesn't care. Go ahead.
Timeout, point of order. The Godfather quote, you never tell anyone outside the family what you're thinking. That's what Eli lives by. He doesn't show emotion. The Mannings don't show their emotion. It doesn't mean he doesn't care. It means he's not soft. Second point of order. Do you star in a Gatorade commercial?
Did I?
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Well, I think star in.
We're all champions. Excuse me, we're all champions cast in that. Do you think
Eli doing his rings?
Do you think they said, let's cast the weirdest quarterback in the league, or let's get champions for this commercial for Gatorade? They
were torturing me to put me just after Eli. Just a couple of frames after Eli. I had to watch him do this to the camera with 2 rings, and then I have to say it.
They cast him because he's a champion.
Yeah.
That's right.
Respect the man.
There you go.
Yeah.
You probably asked to be a part of that Gatorade commercial because of Eli.
I did not.
That might have been the reason.
It was a setup.
That might have been the reason.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a setup.
They didn't call Tony Romo. They called
By the way,
Eli.
it's a great
Remember
commercial.
that. It is a great commercial.
Thank you. Proud of you, bro.
Rex Ryan isn't pulling any punches versus the Jets this weekend. The guys will react after the break. Good old Rex being Rex. More First Take in a minute.